It is widely recognized that even experienced painters can improve their techniques and reduce paint usage and emissions. The new rule requires that shop owners certify that their painters have received hands-on and classroom training that meets certain minimum requirements. The training provision is quite flexible and can accommodate the varying types of operations. A shop can develop its own training program for painters or use a trade school, paint manufacturer, or other training facility. A well-ventilated and maintained spray booth efficiently removes paint overspray from the air and minimizes contact with hazardous coating materials. These practices result in less contact with toxic chemicals for the painter, less hazardous emissions to the environment, and dollars saved in paint costs for the shop. Do not clean spray guns by spraying solvent through the gun, creating an atomized mist. Using enclosed spray gun cleaning methods minimizes contact with hazardous solvents and minimizes emissions of hazardous chemicals into the air. Another best practice that can save you money and improve health and safety in the shop is the use of automated gun cleaners. These devices help you get the most mileage from your cleaning solvent and reduce shop waste. When gun cleaning, always use the proper personal protective equipment. Keep all containers shut when not in use. Use gasket-sealed spring-loaded covers on solvent storage containers and waste drums. By adopting these best practices and by recycling solvent, shops can reduce their hazardous waste and the costs associated with disposal. Studies have shown that safe, healthy shops are more profitable shops.
MSDSs are important to the technician so he can understand what he's spraying. He needs to understand he's spraying hazardous material majority of the time. Even if it's waterborne, even if it's low VOC, it is a hazardous material. He needs to understand the MSDS so he knows how to protect himself, because everywhere in there it will talk about that specific product and how you protect yourself against the risk.
Designate a health and safety manager. Establish a respiratory filter changeout program. Have material safety data sheets available to all shop workers. These practices can lead to a healthier shop and a healthier bottom line.
Some of the benefits to the shops that are implementing these best practices are that they're saving money, but they're also protecting their workers. And when a worker is not exposed to these chemicals, they're less apt to become sick. That means fewer sick days and more productivity for the shop.
Best practices can decrease solvent use by more than 50% and reduce air pollution by 70% to 90%. And there are significant economic benefits, including reduction in paint costs by using HVLP spray guns, which have higher transfer efficiencies than conventional spray guns. Best practices can result in savings of up to $13,000 a year at a shop spraying approximately 15 cars a week. Reducing cleanup costs when using vacuum sanding systems, and as much as a 95% reduction in operating costs by using water-based paint and cleaning systems.
Today we have waterborne cleaners, we have waterborne primers, waterborne base coats, and for the clear coats, we have extremely low VOC products.
The paint line is something that we should all do anyway. Going to a lower VOC will help reduce ground level ozone. It's going to make it more healthier. We have a Dairy Queen next door. We have a daycare center behind us. I wouldn't want to be eating food smelling paint fumes. I wouldn't want my kid growing up in a daycare center smelling paint fumes. So we actually make our neighbors happier knowing that we're a greener facility, and it's definitely different than what they had in the last 22 years. You can walk into our shop and can't even tell that we even paint cars here.
Well, we can definitely tell you that this will be a return on your investment by having the best quality equipment available. It's not something we do solely to just protect our people and our environment, but there's a vested interest in producing a return on our investments, and by having the best equipment, we certainly can, do our part in returning the money to the bottom line.
Well, what the bottom line is, is whoever's making these decisions that we are remembered, because we would lack very much to stay in business. And I myself, I'm definitely willing to do whatever it is necessary for me to do to stay here. I'm willing to to do that. And all the help that I can get to do that would be most appreciative.
These are the key requirements for the National Emission Standards for Hazardous Air Pollutants. Paint stripping and miscellaneous surface coating operations at area sources. Final rule. Train and certify all painters. Use ventilated spray booths with filters that are at least 98% efficient. Use high-volume, low-pressure HVLP spray guns. Do not clean spray guns by spraying solvent through the gun, creating an atomized mist. Submit required notifications and reports, and keep records. The compliance date for existing shops is January 10, 2011. And the compliance date for new shops is upon startup after January 9, 2008. Best practices for protecting workers' health, reducing hazardous emissions, and saving money include using vacuum sanding or wet sanding, performing solvent wipe-downs in a ventilated booth or prep station, using low VOC solvents, using low VOC or water-based paint, mixing paint in a well-ventilated mixing room, using computerized paint mixing systems, storing and reusing leftover primers and base coats, keeping all containers shut when not in use. In addition, collision repair shops should designate a health and safety manager, establish a respiratory filter changeout program, have material safety data sheets available to shop workers, follow OSHA guidelines regarding personal protective equipment. For more information on EPA's collision repair campaign, small business environmental assistance, and other sources of assistance, please visit the following websites.